So the day-to-day was getting a bit samey for me, and so I decided to jump in a car and come up here to Cumbria this time. And I kind of made a deal with myself that I wasn't going to make this a very technical trip. I wasn't going to stop and, tripods, multiple exposures and filters and, trigger releases. I was just going to drive and shoot and enjoy my time here. I'm only here for a few days anyway, like a long weekend. I've got a bigger trip coming up in March that's going to require all that technical stuff, so I thought I'd take this one easy. I've only really been shooting on my Fuji X100 and my iPhone, and the reason that's nice is because I can just drive and stop if I see something, jump out and shoot it and then keep moving, and I like that idea of being able to explore fast and shoot what you see and keep on the move. So I'm taking this one a bit easier, and because I got some more time, I thought on this trip I'd tell you a bit of my story with photography. I wasn't always a photographer. In fact, in my 20s, I worked as a priest. But I had been through a few churches and been fired from a couple for being a liberal heretic. So I decided I wasn't going to keep bumping my head against the same wall, and I needed to start something different and move my career in a different direction. The problem is that at 30, that's a terrifying thing to have to do, to start from scratch in a whole new career, especially when you've taken time to get good at the last thing you were doing. You've now got to start at the bottom of the pile. But I got a friend who's always wanted to put a positive spin on things. He said to me, the good part about what you're experiencing is that now you can choose whatever you want to do. It's a fresh start, which most people don't get. They get stuck in a rut and they never get to just choose to do the thing they love to do. I'd already been doing photography and video on the side of church work because, unsurprisingly, churches don't pay very well, and I needed to make the extra money to pay the bills. And I thought, could I make that the thing that I get paid for? Because I really enjoy doing it. And there was a lot of excitement mixed in with the fear. And some of you might know that. Some of you might have experienced that or be experiencing that. Can I leave this thing that I'm doing and make that thing that I really love to do the thing that I get paid for? I wish I had someone around to tell me what I'm going to tell you. I read a book recently called Heart and Mind, and in it the author makes the point that for a lot of cultures around the world, they end their year in autumn. The growing cycle's complete, you bring in the harvest, and that means that their new year begins with winter. And I don't know about you, but that was different from the way that I think, because I start in my head with the year beginning with spring, summer, autumn, winter. But he makes the point that for most cultures it begins with cold, and it begins with empty landscapes and lifeless trees and fallow fields and waiting until you can start to grow again. I think for a lot of us who make changes, we quickly expect that growing to happen and we get very discouraged when it doesn't straight away. But I think only a very lucky few actually get to just start and everything works right off the bat. For most of us, we begin change with winter. And we have to wait through and push through that time where it feels like nothing is happening and where it feels like we're just waiting around. It was certainly like that for me. I left a career with the church and, picked up a camera to go freelance, and I had some pretty naive ideas. I assumed, I'm just so talented, people are going to come banging down my door to hire me, which of course wasn't true because the world doesn't work like that, and I wasn't that talented. I had so much to learn still. I struggled to pay bills, and it was a very lonely time. I didn't know how to get work in. I had to go back and start waiting tables at 30, which is absolutely fine. It's just that I was working in a city where that was where the church was that I used to lead, and they were coming in, and instead of listening to me speak from a stage, I'm now serving them coffee. and it felt like I was going to fall behind everybody. It was a very humbling experience. Like everyone else's careers were just going to carry on, and I was starting from scratch, so how was I ever going to catch up? You know, I made a big mistake, and it was really humbling, and that was my winter. And it was only sheer persistence, just stubbornness often that made me carry on, that made me try and persist and say, I can do this, I can make this work. And now I'm lucky enough to be able to say that for the last 7 or 8 years, I've been able to make money with a camera in hand. I'm sharing my story with you because I think someone should be honest with you about what it's like if you jump into your dream career and you take the risk. I know that it would be easy for me in a video like this to pretend that I'm a big shot, that because I make money with a camera that I've got it all made and there's no mystery anymore. I've worked out how this business works. I know that's what a lot of people do, and that's why that's our expectation, but that's not true at all. I mean, it's a very fickle business and life is very inconsistent, and we live in a very strange world at the moment. I don't take anything for granted anymore. I know I could be back to waiting tables tomorrow, and that makes me grateful for every job I get, for every day I can keep doing this, and it makes sure that I never get lazy, that I'm always on top of my game, and that I'm constantly training myself to stay ahead of the game. And I'm not sharing my story with you to discourage you, just the opposite. I want to encourage you, and I want to help you know what to expect so that you'll push through it, so that when you take that leap and it's not springtime and sunshine and flowers straight off the bat, that you won't quit straight away, that you'll keep pushing because you understand that it's normal, that you're going to have to push through the winter for a little bit. So if you're thinking of taking that leap, my best advice to you would be to calibrate your expectations so you don't just throw in the towel when the universe doesn't gift you with instant success. It will be hard work. You will feel like you're falling behind your peers, and it will be tough because you don't feel like you're getting the response for the effort that you're putting in. Just remember that if progress feels slow, it only means you're normal. It's slow for most of us. Learn to learn from rejection. Make mistakes, just make different mistakes every time, and experiment because it's the only way you're going to learn. You will start in winter because all change does, really. But springtime will come. You just have to ride it out until the seasons change.